The space race for the moon between two post-Cold War rivals, the United States and Russia, to achieve superior spaceflight capability has apparently restarted. Yesterday, Russian President Putin approved the development of technologies that are necessary for Russian lunar program. This was reported on April 12th. What can the U.S. Space Force do to prevent Russians from obtaining high technologies for rockets and other devices to reach the surfaces of the moon?
Well, that's a multi-part question, several encapsulated within. I'll break those down a little bit. Indeed, the United States went to the moon in 1969, and following the Apollo missions, we have not sent humans back. That's why NASA, our civil space agency, has been so firmly focused on the Artemis missions in order to take humanity back through the Artemis program to the surface of the moon and land with the first female as well as the first person of color. And we think this is very important. The exciting news rolled out by NASA of the Artemis II crew further builds on the success of the Artemis I mission. And of course, Artemis III will be the first that actually touches down on the surface. So NASA and the Space Force does support through a broad level of enabling and supporting missions, those broader civil space activities. And so we view civil and commercial space as leading the charge back to the moon. However, throughout history, there's always been a need to protect and safeguard those activities and operations, and that fully falls within the sphere of the United States Space Force. But in particular, the question was focused on between Russia and the United States and with the recent Russian announcement. Well, I would say we've already been investing and have been clearly on that vector with the Artemis program and with the space program. So I think that it's an important validation of how important the moon is to the Earth-Moon economy and the cislunar space. But I think China is another country which is making extraordinary investments in this, and both Russia and China have laid out plans for a joint moon base. And what I would say is I think there are incredible opportunities afforded by the moon, and I think it's just a reflection of the broader strategic competition. But I do believe, as we've seen with the International Space Station, the richness of international cooperation can lead to extraordinary scientific discovery and inventions that benefit all of humankind. So we prefer to have a safe, stable environment in space, but we're also very realistic about the need to be pragmatic and the need to prepare and the need to deliver on our plans and ambitions. So I'm excited about our own United States and partners and collaborative efforts. The Artemis Accords have been extraordinarily constructive, but they're also looking at focusing on good standards and behaviors and like-minded approach to a rule of law and an international order and a respect for humankind that are all encapsulated in those Artemis Accords. So we're strong supporters of that, and we regularly interact and support and enable NASA's lead on those missions.